Hey everybody, I'm Katie Ziegler. I'm a singer-songwriter from Kansas, and listen to my newest single, About Me, out anywhere you stream music. And you're watching Hank Jr. on Hank's Corner.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another great episode of Hank's Corner. As always, I'm your host, Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and, of course, podcasting. And, of course, this episode is brought to you in part by the Tiki Cove here in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Great place to visit, family friendly, out there on the lake, beachy front, plenty of drinks, plenty of food, and, of course, my favorite, plenty of music. I'm very excited about my next guest. I know I say that quite a bit, but I'm definitely excited about my next guest here on the podcast. Not only because I do like the music that she puts out. There is just something different about this next guest that kind of touches me personally about her songwriting. I've been following her for a while, and I'm just so happy to have her on the podcast. Please welcome to Hank's Corner, Katie Ziegler. Katie, how are you doing today?
I'm just great. How are you doing?
Oh, I am doing wonderful, and I appreciate you coming on. I know you're very busy. You're a Kansas girl, and recently you just did the Kansas State Fair out there. So tell us a little bit about that and how that was.
Yeah, I've thought about doing that for a long time, and it was always just kind of in the distance, like that'll never happen for me. I applied, and they were like, "Yeah, come on," and I was like, "Okay." So I didn't know what to expect, but I had two shows, and they were both really good turnouts. And some people said that they came, like they set aside the time to come see me, and I was like, "That's awesome." It wasn't all just people walking by. So that was really cool. And then I got to do the national anthem as well for the first night, the demo derby that they did, and then I got to do the national anthem before the Oak Ridge Boys concert, which was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you by chance get to meet them?
I didn't. I
Oh.
think they said they were on their bus drinking beer, so you know.
Okay, well, we'll limit it to that, so we don't have to, tell some of the stories. I've had, plenty of guests that we've talked offline that tell some stories, and we'll just keep it at drinking beer on the bus. Uh, but I always have to talk about food on my podcast, and I tend to usually talk about it towards the end of the show. But we're talking about a state fair there, and state fairs come with all kinds of crazy foods out there. And did you try any? And and if you have, like, what is the craziest thing that you've tried to eat?
I do not have an exotic palate. I will not try any of the weird stuff. I can't even think of the wildest thing I ate. Probably nothing, because I'm like I'll just eat chicken strips, like the safe the safe person.
Yeah, especially if you're playing, because you never know what that food can do to you. But I've always liked anything fried and anything sweet. And close to here, we do have a state fair, but we also have a strawberry festival that goes on in the springtime, and they always have some great food and always trying different things. And it's just one of those nostalgic things to have a state fair, because it's different from everything else. And like you said, it's kind of community oriented, and gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I know Katie, she's playing out there, let's go see her.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and one of the things that I definitely want to get into talking about is your music. And I kind of commented early on the show about how your songwriting kind of touches me personally. And I know that people have come up to you and said the same thing. And your latest song, About Me, which we're going to find out all about you in a second, including Two Truths and a Lie. But About Me was just recently put out, and I say recently, it's been out for a couple months, but it's been touching lives. And tell us a little bit about the song.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tell this when I'm playing the song, because true story. I was looking in the mirror one day, and and thinking, things like women think, like, oh, I wish I was skinnier, and all of this. And my husband, he says, would you look at a woman out in public and think the things that you're saying about yourself right now? And I was like, no, I would never look at another woman and think that about them. And he was like, then why do you put down yourself like that? Why are you so hard on yourself? And that was like, oh, an eye opener. So that's kind of where that song came. And also, to put another spin on it, I mean, a lot of my songs are kind of faith based, and the same goes for God. I wish I could feel about me the way He feels about me. So that was.
Yeah, and the faith aspect of it, which, I've had some, artists on here that, are Christians, that believe in the faith and maybe even actually have some Christian music out there. And I'm always, glad when they come on and get the chance to, talk about their faith on this platform. But that was also something that drew me to you because you've been able to take it to where, it's not necessarily Christian music that you're putting out, but you have that Christian theme. And it's a little different than a guy that I had on here, Aaron Tanner, who he has the same thing, but his is more of a honky tonk bar sounding type deal. Yours is a little bit different sounding than that, but it has the same thing to where people can listen to it, and before they even realize it, they're hearing a gospel message in there.
Mhm. Yes.
And I'm assuming that that's intentional, that that's why you're doing that.
Yes, it is, and it's funny. It's intentional, but it wasn't intentional. It just happens, and yeah, I always say when I'm playing, if I could touch one person, even just one person, with something that I've said, then that is why was put here, and I've done my job. So.
Yeah, you're definitely doing well at that. Like I said, I've seen the people that reached out to you and you've talked about. And let's go ahead and play About Me here on Hank's Corner.
I just wanna feel like I belong. I just wanna look in the mirror and not see someone that I don't wanna be. I just wanna take my makeup off and not feel like I'm looking at a stranger. I wish I wasn't my worst enemy. Why can't I turn my thoughts off? Why can't I ever see myself like you see me? You say I'm beautiful, you say I'm perfect, and you say you wouldn't change a single thing. And I wish I could feel the same about me. I didn't say these things about myself that I would never say about somebody else. Believing my only worth is what others think I hide behind the screen. Scared that they might see the real me. Why can't I turn my thoughts off? Why can't I ever see myself like you see me? You say I'm beautiful, you say I'm perfect, someday I can feel the same about me.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my special guest, Katie. And, we're learning all about her as, we just played her song About Me. And one of the fun ways I like to find out about people is my newest segment that I've done a few times here on Hank's Corner is called Two Truths and a Lie. And Katie, I hope you want to play this, but it's very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to give me three statements. Two of them are going to be true. One's going to be a lie. You're going to do it in any order that you like. And, throughout the podcast, I'll think about it. We'll have the viewers thinking about it. And towards the end, we'll try to guess and see if we can get it right.
Okay, sounds
Oh,
good.
all right. Hit me with three statements.
Okay. My dad has played on stage at the Ryman Theater. I opened up for the Bellamy Brothers. And my first song I wrote was when I was 7 years old.
Okay, so I need to figure out on whether or not your dad played on the Ryman stage, that you've opened for the Bellamy Brothers and another great group. Talking about the Oak Ridge Boys, but Bellamy Brothers are another classic that I enjoy, and we have to figure out if you wrote your first song at 7 years old. Now that's going to be a little bit tricky because here on Hank's Corner, I'd love to dive in to find out how your history goes, because my tagline is documented life's moments. And that's what I like to do, and through the podcast, and we get to do a little bit of a short documentary in the second section. So we'll have to skirt around that so we don't find out if your first song was at 7 years is a truth or a lie. But tell me a little bit about, getting started into the music. What kind of inspired you? Who were your influences? That kind of thing.
Yeah, my dad was a musician, and that part is a little iffy because he wasn't around much when I was little, because music really was his life, and I definitely, always saw that in the background growing up, but I just always loved music and I connected with it, and just a connection that I still can't explain. So I just always had that feeling in my heart. And yeah, I grew up, of course, close to the Taylor Swift era, when she first got started, and that was amazing. And yeah, I just kind of was just like, I love doing band and choir, and it made me so happy that I was just like, I want to do something with this. I don't know exactly what, but I want to do something with music for sure.
Right. And a lot of people, when they bring up Taylor Swift, I mean, obviously, um, she has accomplished quite a bit in many different facets. There's the obviously how she's made herself into this huge icon out there, but she did have a start. And for a lot of people that I've had on my podcast, they say that what inspired me about Taylor Swift initially was the fact that she was putting out her own music and being successful at that. Was that something from Taylor's, like you said, the Taylor era that was inspiring you, or was it something else?
Yeah, I mean yeah, she wrote all of her music, and just the fact that she was so young too, and it just really made me think, wow, like I can do that. I can do anything, like she's doing that and I can do that too.
Yeah, definitely. She has inspired quite a bit, and we talk a little bit about your songwriting, and how hard is it really? I mean, for those who do follow you and listen to your music, they know what I'm talking about on how deep you go and how raw it is. But how hard is it for you to put that out there? It's basically kind of exposing yourself for the world. Is that easy for you to do, or do you wait for the time and then it becomes easy, or are you just like, hey, this is what I'm running with because this is who I am. This is my music. Like, how is it for you?
Yeah, I hadn't up until 2 years ago, I was terrified to let anybody hear anything that I had written. So it was huge for me to step out of that. And I really had like a major mindset shift. And it was like, you can either share this or you can just keep it to yourself. And it was just kind of what really got it for me was one day I'm not going to be here, and I have this chance to leave this mark here in the world. And I was like, you're always going to have critics and people that, don't like you or don't agree. But again, going back to that, if I could just touch one person, if I could help one person with anything that I've written or my music, then that outweighs everything. So it was really hard for me to step into that and step out of the fear of, because it's like my journal, just being out there in the world. So
Yeah, definitely. And was there anybody that kind of helped push you along? Whether it was that, hey, you do need to get your stuff out there because it's good and people want to hear it. Or was there anybody that just kind of mentored you in general?
my biggest motivator was my daughters, because just thinking that they could have this part of me one day. Because like I'd said before, my dad was a big musician, and he passed away a few years ago. And I have his music, but and pictures and stuff. But to have that was really special, and it was like I have this opportunity to do this for my girls and to show them that they can do anything. And that was really my biggest motivation.
Yeah, and that just sounds awesome because, I people that know me know that this is not my full-time job, my photography or videography. Um, I got into doing that because kind of like what you're saying, I wanted people to have something to be able to remember, to be able to pass on by, and it was one of those things that I wanted to go documentary style to do that, so they have that opportunity. But my kind of catch of it was, I'm not going to make them pay normal prices that they would if they went with somebody else, just because I had another job and I can do that. And there is definitely something about having those memories, having them to be able to pass on. And there's just something added different with the actual music factor, because I mean, I can deliver a picture, or I can deliver, somebody giving a speech at a wedding or whatever it may be. But especially when I get to use artists that have been on my podcast that allow me to use their music, there's just something about having that music as well that just kind of ties it all. Because I think it was like Clint Black that once had a song lyric that says, the song takes you back to another place and time. And you have that opportunity to personally do that. And I think that's just a wonderful answer and a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play here, and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about more. And I do want to get a little bit more personal as well, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, we'll definitely ramp it up with some fun stuff as well. But here on Hank's Corner.
You've shifted my focus. It's quiet now, Lord. Could you maybe tell me what you put me here for? I'm lost and I'm broken. I'm feeling ashamed. And if I'm being honest, some days I don't even mention your name. I know I have a place in this world. It's your perfect design. So why do I still feel Could you maybe tell me what you put me here for?
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my special guest Katie, and we're talking a lot, and this is kind of getting deep, and I hope you don't mind, Katie. But your music, like I said, that's one of the things that drew me to you was how deep it was, and you've been open on social media, and I tell guests before we even get started with this, I'm not really going to bring up anything too much that the artist didn't bring out on social media first. So for those that are wondering, hey, how I do this thing, it's usually because they bring it out first, But you've been open with different topics such as, I mean, we talked about it first. One was, critiquing yourself, and you mentioned that ladies tend to do that, but guys do that as well. And you've talked about depression and mental health, and your story, I guess, kind of has led you along to experience many different emotions and to experience that. And that's what gives you the opportunity to put that in songwriting. But, tell us a little bit about that and why you do talk about that on social media.
Yeah, there's going back again to if I could help one person, then that would be worth it. My older sister struggled with depression, anxiety. I wrote my song Forever Young about her. And yeah, it's just, I feel led to help. And I have a platform that I can do that. And I want to use it for good. And I just want people to know that they're not alone. Even, I put on, such a strong face and on social media, but you don't always know what's going on behind the scenes, and that goes for everybody. Sometimes someone looks like they have it all together and their life is so great, but you don't know what happens, behind the screen, and they may be, having to use that as, their to show that their life is good, just to tell them that their life is good. I struggle with that, with looking at other people, through social media and thinking, wow, they have so much, they have all of this. But then I have to take a step back because I know, some people look at me and think that. And I want to let people know 100% transparent that that's not the case, when it comes to me anyways. So, they don't think, well, she has it all together, because I definitely don't. And I don't think any of us do, really.
No, and definitely not. And those that say they do, we know that they're not telling the truth. And one of the questions sometimes I've asked is, going back to my era where Charles Barkley famously came out with a commercial that says, I'm not a role model." Obviously those, well, pretty much now with social media, anybody can be a role model. And I like to ask them whether or not if that's something easy for you or hard to do, but I'm just going to kind of guess that it's just something really natural for you to do. Like, you don't make a huge deal about, I'm a role model, but you recognize the fact that, your social media platform, your music platform does reach out to people. And I think that it is kind of easy in a way for you to be a role model. Do you agree with that, or?
Yeah, that's honestly one of the things I struggle with, is thinking, are people going to think that I just think that I'm, so special because I don't want that. I overthink everything, but yeah, I mean, I just feel led to it in my heart, and I know if I have the right intentions and I'm doing it for the right reasons, then that's all that matters. So
Yeah, and I applaud you for that. And please don't stop doing that. Please stay down, real to earth. And those artists that do that really, I admire the most. I mean, I may like different kinds of music for that they put out, but those that are real, those that stay real like that, they are in my respect more than just through the music. And when we talk about mental health, one, it's still kind of a stigma, especially for guys to talk about mental health. But there is various things that are involved in that. I mean, we have things that just things, whether you have a bad home life that causes it. We have our veterans that come back from war that experience a different form of that. And I got to talk to Mark Perkins out of St. Louis, a great music artist. And he talked about, he's got a song called 12 Ounces Away. And basically it's dealing with, a suicidal thing. And I kind of bring this up because when we're recording this, we're recording this actually in September for those who depending on when I get this out, September is Suicide Prevention Month. And Mark wrote that song, and he had a veteran listen to that song. Like you said, a lot of things are God inspired at the right time. Why thinking about suicide, and just got a hold of Mark and said, your song is the reason why I didn't do that. And that's why I say, keep doing this, because it's definitely God inspired, and you can take your talent and you can go in one direction, or you can do it for the glory of God. And I definitely want to applaud that, to you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and play another one of my favorite songs, by you, called Pretty Girl. And when we come back, we'll wrap it up with some fun stuff.
You look at her and pick her all apart. Her smile's too big, her hair's too short. No, that's not pretty girl. Why would she wear that? No, that don't look good. Cover those scars, I wish she would. No, that's not pretty girl. We're all beautiful like the stars above. Counts them all, calls them by name. A masterpiece made from love. Imagine how our sky would be if we were all the same. Come on, pretty girl. We're all pretty girls. Too much makeup, but we're not enough. That look she's got, she thinks she's tough. That's not pretty girl. She's too big and she's too small. She's too short, she's too tall. But we've got a light inside us all. We're all beautiful like the stars above. He counts them all, calls them by name. A masterpiece made from love. Imagine how our skies would be if we were all the same. Come on, pretty girl. Tearing her down, don't build you up. Stealing her crown, won't fill your cup. God made you, He made her too, and He needs both of you. Tearing her down, don't build you up. Stealing her crown, won't fill your cup. God made you, He made her too, and He needs both of you. 'Cause we're all beautiful like the stars above. We're all just trying to find our way. So be the light, spread the love. Darling, let's agree. Those ugly words you speak. Now tell me, can't you see that's not pretty girl? Yeah, come on, pretty girl.
Welcome back again to Hank's Corner. You're with my special guest, Katie Ziegler, and I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments. And, we're going to find out a little bit more about Katie, on how her statements were true and, if they were false. So we're going to go back. She said that My dad played on stage at the Ryman Theater. And Ryman Theater, for those that know, it's just a historical icon, a great stage to be played on. We do know that her dad was a musician, so kind of try to figure out just whether or not he played on that stage. She said that she also opened for the Bellamy Brothers, which is quite possible. I mean, you've opened up for a lot of great artists that I've seen there on social media. Whether or not it's the Bellamy Brothers, I don't know. And your first song was at 7 years old. Um, so I'm hoping that I can go through this logically. It is a tough one, but based on your songwriting and how I feel it's a natural gift, I'm going to go ahead and say that you did write your first song at 7 years. Um, I'm going to say your dad did play on the Ryman, but I'm going to say you have not opened for the Bellamy Brothers, and I'm probably sure I got one of those reversed, but that's what I'm going with. So tell me which one I'm right or wrong on.
I did open for the Bellamy Brothers,
Oh, okay.
which was really cool. Because they're old school, but they were very like pop for their time. They were just kind of different, and so I thought that was really fun. But yeah, my I actually wrote my first song when I was 11. I wasn't
Oh,
so just switched it up just a little bit.
7-Eleven, it rhymes, so I'm close enough. So, but tell me then, so your dad got to play on the Ryman. Tell me about that.
Yeah, my dad was an amazing musician. He had 2 albums he recorded. He'd played with so many different bands I couldn't even count, but he was one of those that could just jump in to any band and just go. He was just a very, very talented musician, and I don't know the specifics on the Ryman, exactly what band he was playing with or all of the details around it, but he played on a lot of cool stages and went a lot of cool places. So
That's awesome. And given the opportunity, I mean, obviously the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry and those are obviously top on the list. But given the opportunity to play anywhere in the world, where would you like to play?
man, that's hard. I think I want to play somewhere on a beach. That would be awesome.
All right, so we could make that happen here in Florida for you. So if you want to do that, obviously we talked about the Tiki Cove sponsoring this, and it's not necessarily a beach. It's got a lot of sand. It's a beach on a lake. But if you do want to play actually on the beach, we could try to make that happen here in the Tampa Bay area. So let me know, and maybe we can make your dream come true.
Of course.
So tell me, okay, so I was off by 4 years, but you wrote your first song at 11 years old. Do you remember that song, and do you still play it?
I do remember it. No, I always joke. I'm like, I wrote my first song when I was 11, but you won't hear that song. But it was actually it was right after my grandma passed away, and it was very like it was a Christian song. It was me like talking to God, and so I mean, really, my potential was there then, and I didn't even like know it until I kind of grew up, and then. But yeah, I still remember. I still remember the song. I can tell you the words. I can tell you exactly how it went, and I even I had a whole routine that I did with it. It was
Oh,
upbeat.
wow.
Yes.
And that's awesome. And almost every single person I've talked to, except for Ali Colleen, that I've had on this podcast, have said that I do not perform my first song out there in public. And you have maybe a little bit different reasons, little personal like that. But usually the typical reason is because like they just said, look, I branded myself differently. That's not me anymore. And I'm like, hey, you know what? But that is you. That's where you got your start. And we understand that you got a brand, but I always find it for those that may have it out there or haven't pulled it or whatever, that's awesome. But yeah, only one artist I've said that if you request it at her performance, she will go ahead and play that. So I said, well, the first time I see you, I'm just going to do that just because I want to see if you're truthful about that.
Yeah.
um But, talking about performing, and like I said, you were just performing at the state fair there in Kansas, and you've been all over local newspapers. But, should somebody come to a Katie Ziegler performance, what should they expect?
Yeah, I like to keep things very upbeat for the most part, but I'll play my originals. I have 14 released originals right now, and I can't even count how many unreleased. But I really gauge the audience, and I have a whole array of songs I play from classic rock to pop to country. I can just kind of do everything, and I really, like I said, gauge the audience and just kind of build my playlist around that. I just want people to enjoy themselves, and if only for, the little bit of time they're listening to me, they're not worried about everything else going on. They're just there and enjoying themselves in the moment. So
Yeah, and when you do play, I see a lot of shows there in the Kansas area, and then I guess some in Nashville as well. Is that typically where people can find you?
yeah, I'm just really just around my home. I A few weeks ago I went 4 hours away, but for the most part I stayed pretty close to home base. So
Okay, well, we're gonna have to, expand your horizons if we're gonna try to get you here to Florida. And you mentioned that you're gonna play some of your unreleased songs, and those, and this is my plug to go ahead and follow, Katie on social media. It's Katie Ziegler, right? Is your handles there? Go ahead and follow her. But there are some clips of her playing her unreleased songs that I'm looking forward to when you do record them and put them out. And you got to let me know so I could put it on my new Music Friday post for that week. But for those, obviously you got a lot of great songs out, and we got some in the pipeline ready to go. So make sure everybody that you do follow Katie out there on social media. It's not, and it doesn't cost anything to do so, but of course she's got a new line of merch out, right? Is that what I saw? Or can people buy that merch?
yeah, I don't have like an online store or anything, but I have my merch and I'm happy to mail it to wherever.
Yeah, so hit her up with the message, or find out on social media how to contact her. She'll be glad to do that. I always want to make sure that our artists are being supported, and it's great that you stream the music. It's great that you follow them on social media, which does help. But the biggest thing is when you buy their merchandise, that's how they kind of make their bread and butter. So please do that. But Katie, it was so great having you here. If you ever want to be a guest on Hank's Corner, you're more than welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Your light shine brighter by blowing someone else's out. You're standing way too close to the fire. Just keep showing the world what you're all about. You put your pants on the same way as me, and I don't know, but I bet you we bleed the same color. So why can't we be nice to each other? You got a lot of nerve. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. You get what you deserve, 'cause I don't think you have a nice bone in your body. Be careful with those words that you can't take back, 'cause you act like you're better than me, but that's like the pot calling the kettle black. You're throwing my way, saying that you're so above this, but you started a game I don't wanna play. So keep it to yourself what you have to say. You've got a lot of nerve. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. You get what you deserve, 'cause I don't think you have a nice bone in your body. 'cause you act like you're better than me. They say don't judge till you've walked a mile in their shoes, but honey, it don't look like we're the same size, and hate is a path I'll never choose. You've got a lot of nerve. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. You get what you deserve, 'cause I don't think you have a nice bone in your body. Be careful with those words that you can't take back, 'cause you act like you're better than me. That's like the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, yeah, calling the kettle black. We've got a couple of dogs, couple of kids, 30-year fixed rate mortgage, dreams that we both share, living on a credit card and a prayer, wondering when it gets better, thinking it won't last forever. It's not easy, but I swear there was a day we prayed for what we have right now, a family of our own. We don't have to walk this road alone. We're putting dinner on the table, may not be ahead, but we're holding stable. Even if we have to fake it, home is what you make it. We ain't got a dime to our last name, but we have each other, and I love this life we made. It ain't always pretty, some days it's downright but rich ain't what you've got in the bank. There was a day we prayed for what we have right now, a family of our own. We don't have to walk this road alone. We're putting dinner on the table, may not be ahead, but we're holding stable. Even if we have to fake it, home is what you make it. Maybe next year we can catch a break, but let's enjoy the ride, 'cause honey, we're good for goodness sake. 'Cause there was a day we prayed for what we have right now, a family of our own. We don't have to walk this road alone.